everyone, I'm back with a new watercolor review. This time I bought the QoR Watercolor set. This one comes with 12 watercolors, but they also come in sets of 6 and 24 watercolors. The price of this one is around $40, and you can also buy them individually if you just want to test the brand before buying a complete set. I bought these watercolors because I saw in some reviews how well these paints flow on paper, which is something I really appreciate now that I'm experimenting a bit more with backgrounds. So yes, I also really like the mix of colors, though I think it comes with too many earthy tones, which I don't really use. Also forgot to mention that the set comes with this cute palette. Now I'm going to create two new mini palettes because I currently don't have a bigger palette to pour these paints into. And to do that, I'm using these two little cases that are actually made for contact lenses, but I saw them in the store and I thought they would fit perfectly for watercolors. So yeah, I'm using it for that. And to create these half pans, well, first of all, these aren't really half pans. I got them by cutting an old ice cube tray that I had, and by cutting them individually, they kind of look like half pans, so they work perfectly in my opinion. So if you also want some new half pans, but you can't find them anywhere, try recycling an old ice cube tray. If you happen to have one at your house, of course. Because as you can see, they work perfectly fine as half pans, plus you get to recycle and reuse something you were about to trash. So I would say you get some extra points for doing that. mini palettes are completed and ready to be used, it's time to swatch them. But first, I'm creating this little swatch card with the names and codes of each paint. That way it's easier for me to identify each watercolor whenever I want to use them. Okay, now that that's done, let's continue with the swatching part. The final result of the swatch card. I really like how the paints look on the paper, and I especially like how granulated these paints are, though I'm not very sure if that was because of the paper that I was using, but I think you will be able to see it better in the final painting that I'm going to do using these watercolors. So with no further ado, let's finally try them out. For this time I tried to do a simpler illustration, that way I can focus more on the paints and I can also finish it faster. I'm starting with the background, and for this one I wanted to do a gradient, and I'm intentionally not making a super smooth transition and that's because I want to keep some shapes in the background. That's why it may look a bit weird, but that's exactly what I wanted. Now that I finished with that, I can finally rip this masking fluid off of the painting, and I really like doing this because it's like I'm feeling a new illustration. I don't know, it's something very pleasing. It is definitely my favorite part whenever I use masking fluid. Something that I also have to mention is that in my style of painting, I don't really let paints flow so much on the paper. I rather have more control of them. So yes, maybe in some other illustration I can show more of the potential of the paints and how much they can move on the paper. here comes the cheating part. Yes, I use another brand of watercolors in here, the brand Holbein, specifically the color Opera Quinacridone, because the magenta that I use in the set of QoR wasn't really the color that I wanted for this illustration. I wanted a more brighter pink, and that magenta wasn't really working with the idea that I had. So yes, in all of the next parts that you see me using pink, it will be with the brand of Holbein, but the rest was completely painted with QoR, I can promise that. So to finish this illustration, I'm using some white wash to paint the yellow part of the background because it was very saturated and I didn't really like that. And with the gel pen, I'm adding white highlights to finish it completely. And this is the final result. I really like this brown overall. I didn't get to use all of its colors, but with the ones I used, I was really happy with. So yes, that is all. Hope you like this video. Thank you for watching. Bye!